afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. Master Propaganda Hero Strike Defender of the Fatherland of here to 1 vs 1 on Arnhem checkpoint. Between the south, you got Fanatically Furious Fury. Here, in this case, we'll just call him France because that's going to be really tiresome to say a lot. So, France here fighting for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland taking on the road here of the Kampfgruppe Hohenstaufen. There's the north, you got Hardy styled. A top 100 Brit player fighting here for King Country, the Commonwealth, for the Guards Armour Division with Mobile Assaults. We got Osttruppen as Mobile Assault. We got double Stuke bullets from machine guns there for France, with triple infantry there for Hardy style, with a double section versus triple Osttruppen for France, allowing him to rapidly advance across the map here to cause many points. What of course to hold them up there. So this could be an interesting opening there, and certainly could give Hardy style there a bit of a headache, though he's also pushing it aggressively, in this case focused in the centre, where France seems to be more pushing towards the fuel. So that rather could give him a bit of edge to handled correctly if then Hardy style makes a mistake of just focusing too much in the centre while he then hands over most of the fuel to the Germans. That would be pretty bad. We got the first section on the way there for Hardy style. Section opening up the Osttruppen. No, it also just seems like there's a lot more Osttruppen returning here, I think in part due to all the British again returning, in which case a heavy Osttruppen build can usually sort of counter it a bit. Fourth Osttruppen squad out there for France. Again, 4 Osttruppen is actually quite a bit there from the German player. No machine gun so far, scattered across here, but overall seizing a lot of territory here for the German army. Osttruppen squad then he's going to support, I think, some of the other Osttruppen, gaining local superiority that way, pushing back. Hardy style was now going for Vickers machine gun to support his brave boys at the front. Fuel upon there secured and connected for the German army. Meanwhile, Hardy style has only managed to secure 2 points here. France has secured a bit more, though some of them have yet to be connected. Further attack up here, Osttruppen moving in quickly to support. Then here the squad goes to that section. Continued shooting here. Looks like the Osttruppen were winning up there. In fact, we got more Osttruppen winning up. Well, they could in theory try to capture a point. It's not a bad idea, just push it. In fact, he's going for 5 Osttruppen. Hey, it's a lot of Osttruppen right here for France and the German army, committing a lot of cheaper, lower quality infantry. There's a battle against those dastardly Tommies. So we'll have to see how that works out. But it certainly gives them a lot of maneuver elements, and it just allows them to play very aggressive and also just exert very aggressive map control versus Hardy style. In particular, if Hardy style is not prepared for this at all mentally. So he's getting pressure in the centre. He's losing the west side here as well to the Osttruppen, who keep just pressuring, attacking and flanking and whatnot, while the Pioneers are going the eastern side. So right here we can see in the first, not even 3 minutes, France's man secured most of the map, relying pretty much only on Osttruppen. Vickers setting up there inside the house, grabbing the point there. Can go for the core point and then secure the fuel. He's also got the munitions. They will soon have the munitions here, so he'll be getting a lot of munitions very fast, which of course opens up for a lot of mines very fast for France. That way locking down parts of the map there and make it hard for some for Hardy style to get out any vehicles to counter what France is up to. He is taking up there. No MG42s as yet here for France to sort of maybe hold up the infantry. He's just relying on his own large quantities of cheap infantry, which is certainly what there was a lot of, say, during Operation Market Garden. They basically just swept in troops, replacements and whatnot from all across Germany to reinforce the situation there, plus whatever training units that were sort of also stationed in Holland by the time. But you had a lot, for example, Kriegsmarine and Luftwaffe spare personnel not yet shifted out to sort of more military divisions, just sort of given rifles and sent ahead. Reichsarbeitsdienst labour units were also basically armed and sent towards there. In some cases, they had to make do with really old rifles from World War I, or even older than that. 666 pushing ahead here with Saps on the way. He's basically thinking he's not going to push. He's going to try and catch France here off guard by hitting the eastern flank. A nice sort of tactical move there, I think, the Hardy style. Certainly displays a more agile tactical mind, which can at times be very critical, as France is just focusing heavily on the western side here. And of course, also there in Holland, you had a lot of the, well, Fallschirmjäger divisions, but only Fallschirmjäger name quality level, but probably more closer to a Volksgrenadier division. So some fun facts. So they got the Osman attacking here, the advancing section, as it pulls up there, finding it for the fuel point. Sappers moving up. Vickers not moving in support, but it's covering the centre which he doesn't control. It's probably to try and deny him the ability to quickly shift from the west towards the east here. That's my guess there from Hardy styled. which does make sense, though certainly means he's not going to be able to exert as much pressure. Oh, he does shift the machine gun. Flammenwerfers for the pioneers, not considered here yet for France and the German army, the Hohenstaufen. Because they're slightly shifting now towards supporting the east. Good, good. Overall maintaining some decent pressure. They're losing slightly out to the Osttruppen, despite the Osttruppen actually not being good cover. There we go, getting up some good hits. Veteran one in the section. Huns are dropping there like sacks of spoiled meat. Got a half coming up. There's going to be a flame for a half to their Flamm Panzerwagen, giving Hardy style quite a hard time. We'll have to see how he deals with that. He's going for the anti-tank, and he could also in theory soon go for the armoured car, but he's going to be under a lot of pressure here in the meanwhile from France and the German army. There you go, flame for after their strikes with its 2 flame projectors, sending those Tommies scurrying away. Section the vehicles out the house also need to get out before that gets turned into a very, very large oven. Or smokehouse, whatever you prefer. And there you go, 6-pounder gun out there for Hardy styled. Fun fact, the Russians received a bunch of them, though from the Americans, so it was the M1 there. And overall, they were not particularly impressed by it. They in fact preferred their own 76mm Cis-3 gun. It was sort of roughly in some ways actually on the same level in terms of penetration and the likes there. But it had other deficiencies, I believe, amongst one of them was that it was not actually very good at protecting the crew. It was also very difficult at being moved around, if I'm not mistaken, as well. There were some issues there. Plus, it performed poorly in cold weather, if I remember reading it correctly. There's some fun facts there. Flamethrower falling back there. Now France is more or less control the map there. He's laying down mines. Telaminen, very good. Sehr gut. He could actually begin laying down bunkers or trenches himself. Machine gun bunker around here could be pretty good. Or around here. Or around here. I mean, there's really a lot of places he could just begin digging in here. Sandbags, barbed wire. Lot of options. We'll have to see if France actually commits to any of them, or if he just, decides, take it easy. But there you go, Osttruppen defending the western fuel point. There's the Brits launch a furious assault. In this, by the cough point, another assault goes in here from Hardy styled. He is Hardy styled as he launches his assault on the Germans, the Huns, the Bosch, the Verdigris. Going there for the fuel point. Overall seems to be making slight progress. Overall seems to be what France was expecting, so not as much as it could have had he said he struck the east again, maybe. Of course, he's worried about the flame for half-track, I imagine. In this case, has the 6-pounder gun supporting him better, so if he does push it up, he can probably deter it. Saps there cutting down the Osttruppen with their Sten guns. Over here, section slightly bleeding out and being focused down it for a bit. Reinforcements here, Vickers moving into support there. Good, good. He's a bit slow getting his Vickers though to support his infantry assaults, which makes it a lot easier for France to defend against them, which is definitely not something Hardy style should be aiming for. We do here have the critical piece of equipment. That is going to be the Bren gun. Osttruppen, while initially actually pretty decent versus unupgraded infantry, they tend to very quickly lose out once the infantry becomes sufficiently veteran or become upgraded with weaponry, and that's basically sort of what Hardy style is doing now, so that should put some more pressure there on France's Osttruppen. Meanwhile, though, Hardy style is just trying to persevere in the face of German oppression, of the British entrepreneurial spirit on the battlefield. And meanwhile, there we can see France has actually executed Tier 3. Russia's got so much fuel, he's actually been able to get it out here at the 8-minute mark, and if he can actually maintain sort of things as they're going now, he could probably get out of Panzer IV reasonably fast. But even then, not that fast. Still nicely done there, and certainly keeps in mind that a rush is about doing it fast, so you can get the stuff out fast once you actually have the option there. So that is good. They could consider fuel caches as well. But there you go. Also missed the Bren gun, and all of a sudden again they're bleeding a lot more. Suddenly 2 members down there of the squad, Squad Otto. Not so good there for France there, as his men are bleeding out, and there we go, flamethrower coming up there, Pioneers, Osttruppen supporting, anti-tank in there. Oh, there we go, able to support, gets a good hit in the Flammpanzer round. The promise was his Bren section, there's an easy target, and the anti-tank gun is completely wide open, basically allowing the Germans to rush it. But we got a bit of surprise, we got a commander squad appearing here, flanking these Osttruppen with their silent Sten guns. Not that the silence matters so much. This is, pretty obvious what's going on there. But there you go, hold of the Pioneers, saving the anti-tank and then preventing France there from just rushing it. They think you could actually try and rushing hit them nonetheless as it was moving about, maybe catching it off guard and maybe doing some more damage. But in this case, France decided to play it cautiously. And now France is aiming for Panzergrenadier, which is actually rather important once your opponent begins bringing up, you know, infantry and Bren guns and whatnot. The Osttruppen are just going to increasingly struggle to do anything, have any impact on the battlefield. So bringing up Panzergrenadier so that way sort of carry the main fight is in fact incredibly important. And it tends to be the spot there where a lot of Osttruppen doctrine players, well, fail basically because they just keep relying on the Osttruppen, despite the Osttruppen at a certain point they just can't push it any further. So very good work there by France, very good, commendable. Back here, healing, reinforcing, preparing for the next big push there for the fatherland. We got hardened Panzergrenadier there arriving, Sturmgewehrs in hand, the will for victory in their hearts. Trenches going down there by the western victory point, Vickers covering the calf point, command securing the centre, section standing ready to counterattack and push back any of those dastardly Jerrys, with mostly Lee Enfields and a single Bren gun. Trench almost done there. Panzergrenadier advancing up towards the church, sneaking about and coming under fire there from those Tommies. Die Britischer Schweinhunden fixing up the flame for half track there, and soon able to go for a Panzer IV. You could also try and push out an Ostfrontier, which in some cases would probably be the better choice there, because he should be feeling pretty confident in his overall resources that he's not going to hit with a tank pretty fast. So a flat Panzer rush is going to be, I think, pretty efficient there for France. And meanwhile, though, Hardy style bringing up Piets there to sort of further help hold down any German armour. Very good response there. Certainly buys him enough time. Section there. Commander still hiding, waiting for the right time to strike here. Not a bad idea there by Hardy style. I mean, he could just have them blazing away right away, but of course he might be waiting for the right time to surprise those Jerrys. Meanwhile, also being pinned down to the ground. The truck proving not too much support there. Continuing on with the fuel point. In this regard, I would say that France missed an opportunity to really make it harder here for Hardy style to push into the village centre. I mean, he didn't, you know, lay down a lot of S-mines with a single tiller mine, and that's it. You know, no S-mines or machine gun bunkers. I do feel like that was actually a mistake there by France, or at least a missed opportunity, considering he does have a lot of munitions. But we got a Panzer IV on the way there for France and the Kampf of the Hohenstaufen. Found fact, if a division was depleted to a certain point, it would no longer, it would be referred to as Kampfgruppe, you know, whatever the division's name was. And for example, during Operation Market Garden, where the 9th and the 10th SS Panzer Divisions fought, they referred to as the Kampfgruppe Hohenstaufen and the Kampfgruppe Frundsberg, because they were both so depleted after Normandy. They were basically referred to as, well, Kampfgruppen, to sort of highlight that. That way, you know, anyone who's sort of moving about on the battle map knows this division is not a full division. So a little fun fact there. Section up, there's the Osttruppen holding up in the cafe there. My God, Jürgen, what is it, Ludwig? They have these very nice green buns in this cafe. I thought it was important, but these are... Don't make me slap you. Shut up and shoot the Tommies. Flamethrower after they're moving about aggressively here. Need to be careful, in particular with the Piets about. Since they can, you know, home in on targets now. Of course, France here might have caught one of those players who's not aware of that. He might in fact be one of those returning after some time. I haven't seen him in some time, in which case he might not be aware that the Piets can actually, you know, seek targets actively. So in that regard, he might be in for a rough surprise here from the Piets, because they can now more or less always be guaranteed hits. Of course, they might always penetrate, but they're guaranteed to hit. We'll have to see if that's the case here for France, how he plays around them, but if it is, he could be in for a very rough time. There goes, also exposed the rearmor to the Piets, not the best move either. Pinned my machine gun up there. There's the sappers getting one there. Another one failed to penetrate. There you go, another hit. They still need to get the... He's really pushing it. I honestly don't... I think he actually doesn't know that they hone in on targets anymore. It's either that or he doesn't care, which seems a lot less likely, because no player would do this way around bazookas. In this case, got really lucky by both shots bounced there. That was really close there for France. That he almost lost his Panzer IV, in which case his rush would have been a lot less efficient. He also lost an Osttruppen squad some, and we can see there are more commanders out here for Hardy styled. Probably what white one of those Osttruppen. They're silent Sten guns, catching France off guard, and more importantly, mowing down his Osttruppen in cold blood. 6 pounder gun recruit. He wasn't quite able to sort of push in, and that's actually one thing I noticed here with France so far. He's not very good at supporting his tanks with infantry. At least, I mean, obviously it was just one move there, but generally you want, tanks to be supported by infantry doing sort of larger moves. It makes them a lot more efficient. Plus, of course, it prevents several targets, which are much harder to deal with. Plus, it allowed them to maybe secure the anti-tank gun and then pull away with it or destroy it. So, I mean, it's never a bad idea. In particular, that's what Panzergrenadiers are good at, working with the tanks. Sadly, they don't got quite any abilities for one. I kind of wish they would get around to doing a patch that actually do something about that. But even then, the assault rifles allow them to work, I would say, reasonably efficiently with armour. But there you go, commanders moving in here, clearing up the Osttruppen here. As they're trying to hide, but they can't hide from the British commandos. The silent stand guns there making very, very short work of the soft, squishy Osttruppen. Guaranteeing the entire unit. Then another wipe there for France. He's still maintaining good map control, but he's starting to begin to bleed for it because the commandos very much hard countered the Osttruppen. Meanwhile, his Panzer IV, they're waiting repairs. You should probably get the other Pioneer squadrons possible as well. And I still think mines should very much be considered here by France. S-mines, Teller mines, more of them, but just S-mines in general to make it harder there for Hardystyle to make use of his commandos or infiltrate even more in. Double PS ups of the Panzergrenadiers. Ooh. Line of BT2 wants to get close there. Boat move by France, in this case the Vickers though. Turns the tide here for the Guards Armoured. Securing the centre here with the Panzergrenadiere. And there you go, Bren section moving up there in the Panzergrenadiers. Bren gun, Lee Enfields versus Sturmgewehr. And Ostman almost done with the 3rd Panzer squad on the way there. That's actually a lot of Panzergrenadiers from France. And not a single machine gun, which could also make it easier for him to defend. But again, if he wasn't going for any machine gun bunkers, would have been a pretty good alternative. But there you go, Panzer IV ready again here. Commander screen, got a bomb grenade off, and oh! Clears out almost the entire interior, covering the Walton Knives coat of British blood. Pioneers bring up the 6 pounder gun, landing good hit. They almost got the commandos here with the combined might of the Panzer IV and the Osttruppen, though critically to note, there's not exactly a lot of inf support for the armour here. The Panzergrenadiers are elsewhere, and of course you might be trying to use the tanks in as a diversion, but even then you genuinely want some sort of support for your tanks in terms of infantry. But quick shifting there. They've also got some S-mines on the car pump, which is nice. Sounds makes it a bit harder to harass, and also here, but there's still large parts of the map which could easily have been mined up further. In particular, more areas which Hardystyle is more likely to rush ahead in if he's not got so much of the map. Almost got the section there. Pioneers, Panzer IV on the hunt for blood, for Tommies. Big push here though. Huge wave of German infantry here. France truly believes in NC. Or numbers. Probably numbers. I believe in the number 2. I like that number. It is a very nice round number. He only got command as a unit because he's good friends with the Führer. Ah, that would explain it. Panzer is moving for the victory point. More S-mines here to defend the point. Again, he's good at defending the points on the sides here, but he's not so good at obstructing the rest of the battlefield while he has the chance, I think. Double Osttruppen inside the house. That's basically a waste. They're not going to be able to use them efficiently. Actually, better off laying down a trench, say, in a weird way that Hardystyle can't use, but it can help them defend some of the areas there. That would actually be much better for France. Trenches.
Damned enemies trying to take a point from us.
Still pushing up there. S-mines here could also be a good move. Double commanders versus the Osttruppen. I think we have to move the other way. Yeah, I agree. But this is also where machine guns would be handy. Or, his panzers. It generally seems to think of them as separate entities that should never be mixed. Which is generally not how it works, in particular not in the German army. Back here, troops reinforcing, healing, tanks being repaired. He can soon go for another flak punch. He could also might want to set for something bigger. Now we got one awesome squad here versus 2 commando teams. Awesome continuing to fight here from the cafe. working hard to defend French pastries, or Dutch pastries in this case, from the clammy hands of the Tommies who just wish to dip them in their tea. How barbaric. But there you go, flag pans bring up in support here. We got a Firefly on the way there for Hardy styled. There you go, Commander team caught here by the flak pans up 30 of the high explosive rounds fly through the air, threatening to annihilate them. Troop ceiling reinforcing, got Panzer going to be up to spawn the Osttruppen. This is a much more potent force if the active sticks them together. Then we can see the 6-pounder gun and the Sabs moving in, which again is where the infantry is really nice, because they can clear this out, they can steal it, and then the flak panzer can keep them safe from other things. But now quickly pulls back his Osttruppen, so it seems like France has some sort of combined arms phobia. Like he does not want his infantry and armour to mix, which is a bit weird. Now the Panzer IV on the way there for France, and the Kampf called the Hohenstaufen. Up north here we got the Firefly around there for Hardy style to meet down the tank commander. Panzer's moving in. Panzer IV hanging back because he's much support there. Second Panzer IV doing better. Occupying the small storage shed there. A lot of Bren guns up for now here for Hardy style, making it a lot harder there for France's Osttruppen to do anything. And his armor's just hanging back there. I wonder what he's planning with it then, because it's certainly not cooperating with his infantry, whereas we can see Hardy style sort of working much closer together with his support weapons and his infantry and his Firefly. So it's going to be a bit harder there for France to sort of break it if he's just going to insist on using the tanks and infantry completely separately. Between them we got the Panzer IV, both Panzer IVs in fact blitzing through the centre. Of course we are quick to notice there's a lack of infantry support in the tank assault. I mean, of course he might be using these as bait to sort of expose the rear here for the Panzer IVs to flank in, but even then, you know, some follow-up infantry to take advantage of the gaps that Panzer IV creating would not be a bad idea. He's going to lose, Panzer going to discord here, most likely to Lake's retreat. There we go, white, 340 manpower gone, and the Panzer IVs just break off entirely there. Not entirely sure what France was thinking there. Second squad also retreats now. They're certainly beginning to bleed out more aggressively now here versus Hardy style and the Guards armoured. This Firefly certainly providing some nasty support there, or at least potentially nasty support if it active spots any German tanks. Now the Panzer going to do squad there for France, now sending up the Osttruppen on its own, again noting a distinct lack of infantry support. Whereas the Firefly isn't exactly operating independently from its infantry. But there you go. Section A caught with the Osttruppen. Almost got a wipe. Oh! Ah! One man makes the escape here from the flak panzer. Forcing. Need to get pushing ahead though. Abandoning him. I mean, he's all the one thing I would also like to compliment France on those. He's been actively keeping his eye on the fuel, not just focusing in the centre of the map, though, which again is where a lot of Valorant players make their big mistake. They just sort of tend to focus so heavily on it. France is actually a very agile attacker. It's just he's not very good at cooperating between the tanks and infantry, which I do feel like a bit of a mistake. Plus, you know, when he does have the advantage, he's not very good at mining it up. But there he goes, finally mining the spot up, at least attempting to, so some slight improvements there. They've still got a lot of munitions, basically doing nothing for them. Light gun bomb there. Hardy style, by the way, could also consider mines, but considering the way that France is playing his Panzer Force, mines would be a very good way of just, you know, locking down mobility. He's also got access now to a rail artillery support strike, which in the right place could also, you know, cause more chaos and confusion during a large scale assault. But there you go. Another massive infantry push here into the west by France. One Osttruppen squad and 3 Panzer Grenadiers. That is a lot of firepower on feet. But as we might be noticing, lacking any armor support. See, again, very much seems to keep them sort of as 2 separate entities, which I still find a bit strange. I'm obviously again, you're not sort of getting any, you know, game mechanically bonus wise for doing, but still they operate, I find, best together.
to take a point from us.
Grabbing the fuel there. Again, never too much pressing on the center there, sort of just pointless meat grinders, which is good. I mean, he's still maintaining good flexible mobility, so he's not just tossing away stuff needlessly, but he's not at the same time doing a lot of serious damage to Hardy Style. So I mean, Hardy Style's able to keep up, you know, with his force versus France. Catch that section there with the Ostwind. Sappers push back here, which only opens up more mobility for the Panzer Force to push through. Panzer Grenadiers got wiped here by the Commandos. He's showing himself some wipes there in the Panzer Grenadier section. Almost got a section here wiped. Almost, but looks like he'll get away and go again. Once more escapes. The Wrath. Oh! Got the wipe. In the meanwhile, Hardy Style here aiming for double Fireflies. That's going to be pretty unpleasant there for France. Pretty unpleasant. Fireflies spotted here by the Panzer Grenadier. 400 Masons being flirted, by the way. And, no mines. Additionally being laid down. I mean, right now he might have a chance of, you know, rushing it down with his tanks while the Panzers keep any anti-tank guns away. But no sign of that. Instead, shifting the Panzer Force eastwards, separating them once more from any infantry support. Here there's the option of railway artillery support just to clear out that house. Instead, sends to the Panzer IV. Sweeps in and sweeps out the Tommies. At least attempting to. Flak Panzer with 4 kills. Section now being gutted here by the Panzer Grenadiers. 6 Panzer Gunner being on the Panzer 4. Need to pull back, Wuxuk. And second Sherman we see there done for Hardy Style. Panzer Power need to retreat. Oh, they're going to get cannon bomb. And another wipe there. France is beginning to really suffer here. Now rushing into Flak Panzer and once more straight into the Piets. I definitely think he is not aware that Piets have been changed since the last time he might have played the game. Hopefully he watches this video and learns. Hopefully. Because he's always, you know, again, very interesting playing sort of how he moves about the map. But there's some clear tactical flaws that sort of undermining his gameplay compared here to Hardy Style, who might not quite be as inventive. But on the other hand, tactically he does have some particular edges, which makes him a lot stronger on the defense, and which France's assault tactics aren't quite effective against. He's going here by for a 3rd Panzer IV now, so that's going to be 3 Panzer IVs here versus 2 Fireflies. He's also finally going for an MG42, who could have out sooner, or again, machine gun bunkers. 500 munitions for France. Commandos hiding out here behind an old well. Panzer's opening up, but already suffering half a wipe there due to the bomb, and that's the rest of the unit gone. So now he's got no Panzer Grenadiers. A rather crucial loss there for France. Leaves his Panzer Force a lot more vulnerable on the assault, since again there's nothing to support them properly. The Osttruppen are not going to cut it. Not when it comes to murdering sappers and anti-tank guns, which will be a threat to the tanks. He's got another Ostman on the way there. Panzer IV's not being repaired. He's going to just rush them in there. Oh dear. He's calling in artillery, by the way. He's calling in artillery here. Around the point there. He's going to try and steal the machine gun, or what is going to happen there? Checking it out. And, oh. Wipes the machine gun. Trying to... Is he recruiting it under his own artillery barrage? Keep in mind, the available artillery support has friendly fire. We've got a big Panzer IV push here again with no repairs, going after the Fireflies. This is rather where, you know, they should have repaired more. There should have been some part of attempting to draw them a bit better. This is not the best armed assault there by France. He really wants those Fireflies dead. Wow, 2 Panzer IVs abandoned. That is some pretty spectacularly, amazingly bad luck. Though I suppose it does make up for that bit of really good luck with that first Panzer IV. There was all those Piets. France is obviously a bit upset over 2 abandoned Panzer IVs. I can't blame him. I can't blame him. So that's pretty much GG. I mean, France has got nothing left. I mean, overall, it boils down to A, when he actually had the advantage, he never quite been forced with the sufficient minds, the amount of use for sort of defend what he considered his part of the map, but never sort of mind what you would then consider hostile territory. The centre was never mined, the west side was never mined either. I mean, a lot of mines that could have made it a lot harder for Hardy Style to then do anything, could have been used in slowing him down. Machine gun bunkers could also been pretty great in making it harder for example for Hardy Style to get to some of the points as well, or even trenches for the Osttruppen would have made the Osttruppen a lot stronger versus all those Bren section and commanders as well. So there are some improvements there for France in that sense, but also just working tanks with infantry, just always operate them very separately. Overall, Shun could never sort of really push in and do some serious damage to his opponent that way. So I feel that was also another larger tactical area there by France, which really helped Hardy Style to on the hand was much better at working support units, infantry and armor together into a larger unity. So that I think is very important there as well. But overall, I mean, nice start by France showing what Osttruppen is very much capable of. It was just, and what he's been able to push for a reasonably fast Panzer IV. The problem was that was all he's capable of doing. Mines was definitely, I think, undervalued and underutilized by him, and bunkers could also done a lot there, plus even some caches. So I mean, there's some a lot of room for improvement. Obviously, again, good infantry tactics to an extent. Good use of panzer grenadiers, just harder time having them keeping alive. But he actually did a very important bit, which is from the Osttruppen strategy. You need to go for panzer grenadiers at some point. And he also avoided just that death trap in the centre. He actually kept moving about and he hit the fuel points again. There are a lot of good moves. It's just there were sufficiently bad moves as well, whereas Hardy Style was just more consistent, while not again necessarily sort of creative to sort of pull through. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, tell a friend, share it with everyone. If not, send in a reply and some feedback in the comments section. And if you'd like to do consider donating or pledging on Patreon. Links are in the video description. And of course, a big thanks to all those who already do pledge on Patreon. You are all heroes in my eyes. So thank you all, and see you all tomorrow for another exciting episode. Bye.